God's word first, even before this prayer. So if you would, it's actually Proverbs 16, which says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and your thoughts shall be established. So if you give it to God, he's faithful. He'll work it out for the good. Amen?
Amen.
Let's continue. Heavenly Father, we praise you and we thank you. As we come before you, united as a community, seeking your wisdom, your guidance, and your favor to be upon us tonight, as we conduct tonight's meeting in a meaningful and productive manner. But we also ask that you bless this meeting and all who are in attendance with clarity of thought, effective communication, and to be respectful and kind to one another. And Lord, let your peace be upon us tonight. This I ask in the name of Christ Jesus. And all who are in agreement say amen.
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 All right, if we can all stand and say the
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a volunteer for a sergeant of arms tonight?
Good way.
All right, there we go. All right. Are we doing Chris or are we doing Chris? I think Chris got started, right?
What's that?
I think he was first.
It don't matter. I mean, I'm running stuff anyways.
I could be the junior sergeant.
Nobody ever listens to me anyways.
Oh, I think at the last meeting, we did appoint Chris from like Infinity to do it, so. Board members present, I, Talisha, Shirley Lassiter, secretary. Mel. Okay. So approval of minutes from the last meeting, all the way back in October, I approve. I'll second. You too. Okay. All right. So, before we get started, we have some guest speakers from the St. Johns County Health and Human Service Department. Is it Jennifer Harvey and Marie Guilfoyle? If you guys would like to come up or stay there, however you want to do. However you want to. I don't think there's much room right here, but we appreciate you guys coming. Thank y'all for being here.
How about this?
You know what? We're gonna stand up so we're not like behind you guys. So you can come right here and stand in front of everybody. We don't want to have our backs to you.
No, we didn't want to have our backs to you. Thank you. Thank you for having us. My name is Jenny Harvey. I'm the Housing and Community Development Manager for St. Johns County. And we're honored to be invited to be a guest this evening. We just wanted to come and we're going to leave you with some information about our available programs. And then we have some upcoming opportunities that might be applicable for through our Community Block Development Grant opportunities later in the spring. So we're going to let Marie talk about that. But we're going to leave, it's like a tri-program flyer that we're going to leave with you. And it's about the main things that we offer that are available from our housing department. We have housing counseling, which helps people become homeownership ready. But a lot of times, people that are renting and looking to own, sometimes credit might be in the way, and knowing how to take the right steps to get to where you need to be for that next step of ownership is important and meaningful. So we offer counseling for that. But we also offer counseling for folks that just need help with their credit in general. It doesn't have to be about home ownership. It can just be how to get yourself in order, how to get yourself to that next level of credit worthiness, how to negotiate things on your credit report, how to read your credit report, why it's important. All of those things our housing counselors would cover with you in our housing counseling offering, and it's completely free. You would just need to call our office or make contact with one of our office staff members, and we would schedule something with you. The next program that's in the flyer, I don't know if it's out of order, but one of the other program flyer informational sections is our down payment assistance program for folks that are not current homeowners that are looking to become homeowners. It's called first time home buyers, but that can be anybody who hasn't owned a home in the last 3 years, right? And it's open to residents of St. Johns County or folks that are commuting to St. Johns County. So if you live or work in St. Johns County and you're interested in becoming a homeowner, homeownership, those opportunities would start with our down payment assistance. That path to get to that program goes through housing counseling. So you would get some counseling before you would talk about down payment assistance, because we want to make sure that you would be poised and in a good way ready to be a homeowner, and usually getting yourself credit worthy and in good standing so that you are set up for success is the path to that. And then the bottom section of the flyer is our rehabilitation program. We have housing rehab whereby we can help people, as long as you income qualify, get repairs done on your home. And a lot of the repairs that are typical in a rehab project are some of the 5 major functions of your house. So it would be your HVAC, your central heat and air, it would be roof, it would be flooring, it would be plumbing, and electrical. We help with major items, and they all are centered around health, safety, and code. It is not your traditional, like you'd see on HGTV, like a remodel, but it's a rehab so that you can age and stay in place. Especially right now, I think that in our community, we're seeing a lot of folks get pressured to make sure that their roofs are of a certain age so that they can maintain and not have increased forced rates from your homeowner's insurance. So a lot of times, a little rehab help from our department can help kind of keep things where they are. So I'm gonna let Marie talk about her program. She is in our housing department, but she is specifically dedicated to our community block development grants through housing and urban development funding.
Yes. Hi. So our program covers, I'm just going to add to the rehab, we also do rehabilitation with CDBG dollars. However, the funding goes straight to the nonprofit, and then we'll income qualify the person, and will be the same. We'll follow the same codes and the same regulations. We also help with the nonprofits with the public services. This building right here has been funded with CDBG grants as well. And we do any other public infrastructure. We have done our water main, we have the sewer drainage, we have done all kind of infrastructure in the community. We also offered affordable housing. Some of the grants have been used for obtaining homes and then turning those homes into affordable housing rentals, which some of our recipients have also benefited from it. And we currently, some of you who have my email already, may get a notification that my new year is coming within the next week or so. We hopefully send a publication out for any nonprofit or anyone who wants to apply for the new funding year.
How would you get on the communications list?
I can get your information, I could add you to it. I believe I may have some emails already, but I can check my.
Well, meaning like for a resident who was interested, do residents apply or do they have to apply through someone?
Through the nonprofit, yes.
Through the
Through the
nonprofit.
nonprofit or the self-recipient that receives the funding.
And so who would they, what is the easiest way for them to get in hold with the organization to apply for the grant?
For my grant, specifically, so it will be through the self-recipient who apply. So I will there will be a notification I'll send you who the self-recipients were that received the funding, and then they will advertise that they have that funding. So let's say the St. John's Housing Partnership is one of our rehab, that $4 rehab program, they will put it out there, and then the residents will go through them.
Okay, so residents would go through that organization that's been approved to be funded.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
and that's coming up, that hasn't been decided yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. We're waiting for her to let us know how much will be the allocation for this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just waiting on that. Aside from that, the rehab for this program, they can contact us directly, and information is here.
Yeah, through the SHIP dollars versus the housing and urban development dollars. we have those available now, and you don't have to go through a nonprofit to get connected to see if you qualify.
Thank you.
It's income qualified.
We work very closely with each other, so if one of the rehab from this group does not qualify for any reason, CDBG may have some more flexibility on the age of the home or anything that the home may restrict them from the CHIP program, so we'll be able to help either way, if we have the funding.
That's great. Thank you so much. That's a lot of good, helpful information.
Do you guys have any questions? No? All right, well, we appreciate the time. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you.
much. We appreciate you.
No.
Yes. Do you want to, as long as they just get one.
Yeah, Alright, so we have some new business. We'll talk about Flagler Estates Fire Station groundbreaking ceremony. We do not have a date yet, and we've been trying to, get a date from them. They just don't have it yet. Do you have any other information?
They're gonna have a couple meetings. Hopefully, this time next week, they will have a solid date for the groundbreaking. Okay. But they do have a meeting tomorrow, I believe, and one next week. Hopefully, we'll get the date.
Alright, infrastructure.
I will put this on our website too.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Starting to get to be about that time of year where we're starting to think about the budget that we will be submitting. And part of that is having, discussions and getting letters from residents or emails or comments about infrastructure. And infrastructure is gonna either be hard infrastructure like buildings, could be schools, could be roads, recently it came up after we've had 2 vehicles in a similar area go in a ditch recently. Some people are saying, hey, why isn't there a guardrail there? Why isn't there lighting there? And so infrastructure, we really all need to come together as a community and think about what do we need? What do we need here? I mean, it's not even about wants. It's about what's needed here for our community to be safe and provide that infrastructure. Also, then you can have soft infrastructure programs. So then that's your social services. And I don't really want to talk about the spring fling, but it kind of ties into social services that will be provided.
Yeah.
So, does anyone who's come tonight have any input on things that you believe we need here in Flagler Estates? We'd love to hear from you.
We will take anybody's.
We can't figure out what the community needs if the community doesn't tell us what it needs. We have no clue what to go to bat for unless you tell us this is important to me. No, not you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what do I know?
And the other thing is, Alicia, I know you received communications from a resident about a concern of adding an additional entrance or exit for evacuation purposes. Because right now, honestly, if you're evacuating out of Cranker Swamp, it's gonna flood. If you're evacuating out to go east on 204, that has flooded. And so then I think the question comes up, I believe in terms of the county. I think on number 10 of the plan for new road projects is 305 extension. And that will extend, right now you can get on 305, like what, from 207 to 206?
Yep.
However it ends then. And then I believe on the plan, number 10 on a list, a project list for roads, is extending that then to 13.
Is that something that you would want?
Well, that's something that would tie into the email. Was it an email or a message? that
It
you
was a
received?
private message from someone out here that was concerned that we don't have like another entrance or exit for Flagler Estates.
And if that 305, for example, if it came down past 13, it would tie right into our Amos.
I kind of think we need to
If it went
vet that,
straight
like, we need to vet that with the
north.
community, if this is more than just one person kind of wanting this, or if this is, you know, a community
Yeah,
that.
that's gonna open up.
I don't know too much about that 305 extension. That's why I'm kind of like, I got a couple of people's opinion where it's gonna go through their personal space. The son is supporting it. I don't think the dad so much, but I don't really know, so I don't know much about it. We moved out here in 2016, and I think that was David. How long has that been going on?
8 years.
Okay.
I went to the Northeast Florida Transportation Planning Council, right? And they received our request at that point to put us on the list.
For the 305 extension?
Yes, sir. I guess because number one, 2/3 of the road's already been donated to the county. So there obviously are other people that have an interest in having this road go all the way through. It may be more of a personal interest, but that's still
Well,
a sizable donation.
if it kills two birds with one stone, you know, my question is it something that you really want? Make sure you want it before you.
Well, if you ask, do you need it? When you go to the sheriff's department, when you go to fire rescue, you go to transportation department of the Board of Education, they all tell you, yes, we do need it. Response time and time for children to be on those buses is added 15 minutes for every ride, right? That's 15 minutes in my life for 15 years. That's
Speaking of,
about 2 years of my life,
Yes.
right, just on that road.
I want to add to that, because speaking of transportation and our students, there's that bill coming up for a while, Mel, you had it memorized like 733 or something, bill that was supposed to make our school start times earlier. However, because our children currently,
No,
Our-
later.
later, but because our kids currently are on a bus from anywhere from probably 45 minutes to an hour already,
Yeah.
then that's one other option that could solve a lot of problems, because if we had that to go north, to get closer to, Pedro Menendez and Gamble Rogers, because that's really the further the rides are, right? Then maybe the kids aren't in the dark even with the time change. But the way it is, even with the 30-minute time change, we're still gonna have kids.
Well,
But that's why we
well,
gotta
let
get
me
our
just-
streetlights.
HPC.
Let me just put this out to you. Before I would go to bat for 305, I would love for you guys as a community to get together and decide if you really want it. Write a letter to me and saying that as a community, as a CRA, we want to move 305 extension up on the priority list, and I'll go to bat for you. Just make sure you understand what you're getting before you ask for it, because it might come with the kind of growth that you didn't plan for. So this,
Well,
Yeah.
we have unplanned.
if you're ready for it, then just
It's
make
here.
sure your community's in agreement and send a letter, and I'll try to move it up the priority list. But there was another thing I wanted to add. It was brought to my attention that could be some help with a tax collector office in association with the fire station and the sheriff's department. So I went to Jennifer Raven and talked to her, and she said that she is amenable to that, and they may have money in the budget. But the problem is finding a place. I think the fire station and sheriff's office is too far along in the planning to try to make those kind of changes. I don't think we have the budget for a change order like that. But if we had a location somewhere closer, like maybe this building or someplace here, maybe we could. They are very interested in moving services to Flagler Estates for you, if we can find a good place for them to come. So I don't know about y'all, but y'all have to go to Southeast Branch Library to do everything. All right,
It's there today.
Hastings doesn't have an office anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested also in that, let me know and we'll try to push it. I know Jennifer's, the new tax collector, is very interested in services for this area. You know, one of the reasons why they went away from Hastings is because the internet, the price for internet was like 3 times more in Hastings than it would be in some of their other areas. So it was a financial decision to go away. But if they can get services here, and then she would be willing to come back to the area. So
They can get Starlink anywhere. They can get Starlink anywhere. Doesn't make a difference. $120 a month, boom, you go to.
yeah, I'm not sure if the tax collector would be able to use that, but I understand what you're saying.
I don't see why they wouldn't. There's literally the best to turn that out here. Solid choice. I use it to work and I work remotely and I have the game and do everything else. And it's never killed us to hurricanes.
Well, this board supported bringing in Comcast cable, to bring the cable to everywhere in Flagler Estates. And I'm, for one, have my Starlink for sale, because I have no intention of not supporting Comcast cable, or I guess it's Infinity now. I just signed up. I have
that's an
every intention
infrastructure
on
that's already
supporting
in place.
the internet coming into
Thank you.
Flagler Estates.
Yeah,
That
but
just
not
makes
everybody-
sense.
Not everybody can get that. Even out here, not everybody can get. If I'm on a front end, cannot get Infinity. They will not service my area because Windstream is in there.
After
And Windstream is shitty.
after your 2-year introductory offer,
Yeah, it goes.
Yeah,
we're
well-
going right back to start.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, Madam Chair and members of the board. I appreciate
You're
it.
very, very welcome anytime.
I would like to motion that we plan a separate, other than these meetings, that we plan a workshop for the community, that we pick a date and we plan a workshop and we tie in this whole topic of this infrastructure, roads, tax collector. You
So
said
that's
that
when
that
the
that could
tax
tie
assessor
into the
can
tax
come.
assessor's office. And maybe during that workshop, we could even have a presentation. And I think this new Jennifer from the tax
Jennifer
collector,
Ray?
maybe she would even join efforts with that person that you're talking about. And so I would just like to make a motion that we specifically schedule a community workshop for Flagler Estates residents sometime in the near future.
I have
We'll
about
figure-
10 dates that the tax assessor is available to come out
Then
here in the
let's
next
tie that
2
together.
months.
Let's tie that together.
Well, now
in
there's
workshop.
a difference between the property appraiser and the tax collector.
Right, so I think it would be good for the appraiser to come out here.
Eddie Franklin,
Yeah, so I spoke to him today and Jennifer, his assistant, sent me like 10 dates because we have a lot of people out here thinking that because we're gonna get the fire station and the police annex that the taxes are gonna skyrocket. That is not true, and I think it would be great to hear from him.
He's a
Out
great
here.
speaker too.
And a lot of people think that we get taxed like they do in St. Augustine. It's not, it's split in 4s and it's different. And I just learned that today, which I mean, I kind of figured, but we aren't taxed like St. Augustine is taxed. We're not taxed like Ponte Vedra's taxed. So I think it would be great for him to come out here and speak to us, but he's not gonna come to like one of our meetings. So I think the
So
workshop
a
would be
workshop.
good.
So are you approving my motion?
I
to-
approve it, yeah.
And the other thing I just want to mention is, I think it's very important when we're talking about infrastructure to make those clarifications of what will cost our residents more, when it will cost them more, how it will be funded, things like that. So if that can tie in to the discussion of what we want, when we want it, how we're gonna get it, and how we're gonna fund it, so that it's not increasing taxes, at least, until we can figure things out. But we are receiving income every year through the tax increment financing. We need to seize what's being put aside and use it, like I said, not for once, but what's needed here.
But you know
And so
what,
I
it
think
doesn't go by if we, so our taxes are basically determined by what our property appraisal is from the appraisal office, correct? So if we suddenly get the police station and a fire station, we're not gonna then say, well, now your house is valued more. And that way raise the taxes.
Yeah, but-
that's how taxes would be raised, but
Yeah,
we're in
yeah.
a district that has to increment it's my understanding that the tax increment financing district kind of put a base to start with, and then it can raise, but isn't there not a limit within the next 7 years of our CRA
No.
time in the TIF? There's
No.
well, the county has a cap, I think, of 3%.
The county can make adjustments.
Homestead cap.
Or that, and then there's the homestead exemptions, there's so much involved, that's why I feel like at the workshop, we need to have a workshop, we need to understand it, we need people to ask the questions like you're asking, Mel. We need some time
Just
to
adding
figure
a
out how
fire
to fund
station
the
is not gonna
infrastructure
raise your
here.
property
No,
values.
correct, I get that, but then, that's how it starts. We start with one thing, and then it'll be the next thing, and then it's a bigger infrastructure and a bigger, because there's more and more development out here, and this is what if you listen to our online voices of the community, which that's where the majority of people are right now, that's where the major concerns lie.
Yeah,
We're
but-
growing too fast.
Not everybody's on
We
social
need to-
media.
But
No,
property,
but the majority.
property values are strictly based on your ad valorem tax base, so the only way for your property values to go up is if people come in and start paying more for your properties. Supply and demand. If fewer people move into the neighborhood, the values are gonna go down. If more people move into the neighborhood, the values are gonna go up. It's just supply and demand.
Correct, but if the property appraiser goes by basically what, or the tax appraiser, right, whichever one it is.
Yeah, property appraisal.
Eddie's,
Yeah, Eddie Kramer.
team, they go by what the houses in the area sold around, correct?
Okay,
Is that how that works?
no. So if you buy a house here and you homestead it, so you claim homestead exemption for your house,
Correct.
the value of your house cannot go up more than 3% for the rest of your life, for the next 30 years. That's as
But
high,
then,
it's capped,
hang on, 3% by what?
it's capped at 3%. So,
Total or every year?
no, every year.
Forever and ever, it's only 3?
It's,
Percent or-
okay, so let's say the value of your house stays the same, then your tax rate won't change. If it goes up 10%, they're only allowed to raise your rates 3% as a cap.
But who determines that it goes up 10%?
What they sell for.
Oh, correct, but what
That's
if I'm
what you
never
sell
selling? What if
Whoever
I'm
can-
never selling, then what?
Well, okay, so let me give you, for instance, I've lived in my house for 30 years. I don't pay a lot of taxes because if the appraised value of my property goes up and the property appraiser is the one that determines that. He determines that by the selling price of the houses around you,
Correct.
I think.
That's
So-
exactly my point. because
Okay,
If I
so,
never sell, my house is only worth,
And then there's a
hang
senior
on,
exemption.
my house is only worth what somebody else is willing to pay me for it, not what somebody else says it's worth it. So the property appraiser can tell me, oh, because based on the houses around you, your house is worth 400,000. But if the next person only gives me 300,000, that's all it is worth.
yeah, but your property taxes aren't determined solely by the appraised value. There's a cap for you because you homestead it. So if the value goes up more than 3%, that's as high as your value can go up.
Correct, but this is what I'm saying, right? If I
No,
buy my house for
I know,
300,000,
trust me, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that you don't have any control over the
No,
value
no.
of your property because it's based on factors that you don't control.
No, so what I'm saying is if I buy my house at 300,000, next year they appraise it higher because the property appraiser goes around and goes, this is how much your house is worth now. So they can raise it 3%. Then the following year, they can do that again. So every year it can go up an additional 3%.
Yes,
So within 10 years, I'm up 30% in taxes.
yes.
Do you know how long
That's
it
insane.
took? Do you know
No,
how
but
long
you
it
see,
took?
the value of your house can go up 300% in that same 10 years.
Yeah, I get it, but realistically, let's be realistic, you know? I mean,
Well,
that's-
realistically, they have gone up, like double. When I bought my house, it's 160, now it's like 360.
I think
So,
we need
I
to
mean-
ask all
But
these questions at the
but her
workshop.
taxes have not.
Yeah,
doubled.
my taxes are still the same.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think we need to ask all these questions at the workshop so that they can really
No, I
give everybody
agree.
Yeah,
And
Andy
I think
Kramer
we
can
need to
explain it a whole
become-
lot better than I can.
aware also.
He can't, like, he will help you understand, like,
Well, these are things people are gonna ask. These are things people
And we
are
would like them
gonna
to
Yeah.
come and ask, and also, and to get some, information about it, and all of the exemptions that are also available. I think there's some Save Our Homes exemption for seniors. I think there's, because that is a concern, that we don't want people,
get pressed
we
out.
don't want people to be
Priced out.
priced out, but yet there's still these funds available every year for the next 7 years. And if, like I said, I'm not trying to say, let's welcome everybody and say what they want. What do we we really need to look and say, what do we need for these funds that are available now? That this is the time to go ahead and move forward and put it in while we have the money. And then later to maintain it, that's another conversation, right? To service it, to maintain it, that's another conversation, but I would believe that your initial cost is going to be the largest, and if we have funds now to pay for that, I think at least we need to talk about it. Let's just have a discussion, let's have people come and let us know. I would really appreciate input. I think we all would appreciate. You started it by saying, if they don't come and speak about it, we don't know. If they're not writing us, if they're not, and everyone out there knows that's not here, Flagler Estates, CRA.com. There's a newsletter, or you can subscribe, you can, please communicate
I
with
think let's
us.
just, we'll,
So we'll set a date for
yeah,
our
we'll
community
plan
workshop.
that. Next thing is the spring fling, so that is coming up. So we are not putting on the spring fling, we are just,
Partnering.
we're partnering with, my mom is, Team Up Hastings. So
And
we're-
their Parks and Rec.
Right, so we are going to be, teaming up with them. This, spring fling, we will not have like vendor opportunities because it's made for, you to come in and get like free information, like, so they don't want us to bring in like any vendors like we had for the, holiday
It's free.
festival. Yeah,
It's
everything
free.
is free.
Free food, free fun, free band, free to come and learn about the social services that are available for you. The library will have the bookmobile here, so that'll be fun for the kids. The ones that I know about right now is, like she said, Parks and Recs will be here. They will be having games for the kids to play. Even Wolfson's Hospital, Safe Kids program will be here. The health department will be here with all of the services they provide. But more information to come. What's most important is you save the date. The date is Saturday, April 5th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's Saturday, April 5th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Kids that come and they'll go around the different social services booths and they'll be able to collect Easter eggs. So bring the kids and have some fun.
So we have steering committee election opportunities coming up. So if you are interested, let us know and,
Be interested. Y'all live here. Be
yeah,
interested.
Mel was forced to become part of it.
Yeah, I was talked into because nobody else stood up.
Yeah, I knew one day in advance that when I first got elected, that we were even having elections. So we do want to let everybody know way in advance, we are gonna be having those elections and that date.
That
Do
is
we have-
April 24th. If it follows suit with our regular meetings, that election date, that would be Thursday, April 24th, 2025. There will be 2 seats that the terms will be ending. And usually on social media and that, if we get something, we could probably add it to the website if we could get some bios up, if we get enough advance notice
So do
of
you
who
want
would
them
like
to
to
email?
see
Yeah, I was
that.
gonna say, how do they apply if they want to see it? at the table? What do they need to do?
You know, the way that normally you show up, I mean, you show up, if you wanna announce that you're running by putting out on social media, I know that when I first tried, I did an introduction video, you know, I might have made a few posts on Facebook.
I told
And-
people speak now if I don't hold your peace.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
yeah,
see
come
it.
on, if you wanna get
Give it a
involved,
chance.
you wanna help try to, you know, facilitate the things that we try to encourage people to do.
And it's vice president.
It's all volunteer, we don't get paid a penny,
Now,
good deeds, you know, all that.
Vice president.
But,
Who else's positions up? You're.
But it's an exciting time. The positions that are up will be vice secretary as well as co-chair.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the terms that are currently ending. So you basically run for a seat. After the election, then the executive committee decides who's gonna have what title. And if no one shows up in opposition of a seat, guess what? There's no election,
you get
you
these
just get to sit in it.
Yeah.
Take it on, name it to claim it.
votes. It's glorious. It really is.
Well, it's the truth.
As much as we don't like to talk about old business, because it seems like it's been going on for 2 years already. Old business, streetlight project,
Ancient business.
and road project update. I think you just got an email about the road project update.
It was actually, I was inquiring about the streetlights, because the road project, Flagler Estates Road and Water Control District, that was like last month's meeting, I think, Bill, you signed, it's every month's meeting, which, I mean, do you wanna speak to anything about that?
Yeah, I can mention something about it. Just today, I signed a contract with Halifax Paving for about $250,000 for asphalt millings. That's the basic start of putting asphalt down on a road.
Now, that wasn't part of the CRA project, though. That was like for all the Flagler Estates for $250,000 for millings. Now, specific for the CRA project, that was the $150,000 or $151,000 that Mike Page had done a proposal after we had received word and the previous committee had voted to approve that money, that funding through the budgeting process and everything that got approved by the county to do specifically, originally it was gonna be division, but there was the problem with division, so they moved it up to Guy.
I gotta add to the contract I signed, it is submitted to CRA, to county, and we will get a check from them to pay for these millings.
But what about
That
the,
check is in process, so.
Huh?
That check is in process.
Yes.
but does that include Guy Street for the millings
I
and
don't
the,
know, I'm not sure which streets yet.
what about the rest of Flagler Estates
I
Boulevard?
think that's on the menu.
Okay,
Well, I know specifically it was the concern from the transportation,
Well,
St. Johns County.
the biggest concern we had was about Division Street. School buses, half of it's paved, half of it's dirt.
So that's why I
School
got.
buses are running on 2 wheels in the dirt, 2 on the pavement.
Mhm.
Turn the red lights on and move over the pavement and go.
Okay, but has it been discussed with the St. Johns County School District Transportation Department that they route, yeah, it was discussed. That they are aware about it. I seen an email actually from Transportation Department that they are under the impression that it will be Guy Street, which is
I don't know.
the street that goes through Amos, I believe, to Kircher on Guy. Because the one in between Guy and Division, that's not going all the way through, so they picked Guy, and so it's really important that that is included, because that's what the funds were for, to make the travel of the buses on route safer. There was a concern brought forth, and that's how we got involved. And then also, to continue, where Flagler Estates Boulevard ends at Kircher, or no, I'm sorry, Flagler Estates Boulevard is paved down to West Creek. I believe
Yeah.
now.
It's even further.
But now the millings will go all the way down
Right.
Flagler
Yeah, it's about
to
1,500
continue.
feet.
John,
Flagler Estates Boulevard. So that's what we got involved with, that whole quarter talking about. We, we were just concerned about the transportation department being able to drive their buses,
yeah.
on routes safely.
The only other thing I've got is a question about spring fling. It's gonna be here,
Yes,
all right? And you said somebody from Hastings is involved with it?
Yeah, team up Tess.
Tess
Team up
and
Hastings.
Emily Fox at the library.
Okay.
They've been planning this for months.
Okay, now, because I've talked to some people that have the resources, and I can get us a free bounce house and a free dunk tank to put up, and they will be covered by insurance.
And you'll get the insurance, because that's what the county needs to see, right?
And it'd be free.
I would reach out to Tess.
I think that's wonderful.
I would reach out to Tess
Thank
and Emily Fox for that one.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, yeah, you know them. You've worked with them.
Well, they've already, this company had, there was a thing going on in Hastings at the park, and they had a bounce house up there. And it's the same company that had that bounce house. You might know
Wonderful.
who it is.
Who's gonna go in the dunk tank?
I would.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
I've been in them before.
Streetlight update.
And I can tease the throwers like you wouldn't believe.
I'm a lousy shut-up, so
Huh?
I'm a lousy, like I can't take nothing. It's not gonna be no much fun.
So, for the streetlights, I believe you had a visit from the county from Jesse Dunn, and, that there was an ILA that was, an ILA agreement is going to be brought to you at the next Road and Water March meeting.
Yeah.
Correct? And then what's gonna happen is, Bill, if you sign that agreement, if you're happy with the agreement, it's supposed to state that the CRA will fund the monthly service for the additional LED lights. Okay? And, then if you sign that, then it will go in front of the St. Johns County Board of County Commissioners, CRA, for approval in April.
Well, if it comes across my desk, I'll look at it.
Well, that correction, that was the specification, who was gonna pay for the service. And I believe now it will be written that it will pay for the entirety till 2032.
We'll see.
Yes.
I'm
I
not
would like to
sure.
get this up to Dunkin'.
It's in person. Whoever needs to speak now can speak.
Okay.
This, I'm not even sure I'm at the right building, because I've been through roads and grounds, and this may not be the conversation for here, but I might be able to get some direction. Flagler Estates, our speed limits are regulated by the state, the county. I'm not sure if we have any input. Specifically, 30 miles an hour is basically the rule of thumb of the speeds not posted. 30 miles an hour on these streets, I think the main streets that are paved is good here. The dirt streets are 30 miles an hour also. That is too fast, specifically for my street. I'm retired, I'm on business, but there's kids, the next family who have been have 5 kids, they're homeschooled. They have 4 horses, cows, goats, dogs, cats. I have a school bus that already went through to report it to the superintendent. It does 30 miles an hour plus down that dirt street. Now, besides making a mess when it's dirty, you can't even see the back of the school bus or so much dust coming up. If one of these kids and one of these animals steps out in the street, like I did when she came by one day and I was pointing her to slow down and she waves at me and keeps on going. And a couple of construction vehicles. If one of them kids or animals steps out and that school bus has to take the base of action, there's the culvert Kids are going to get hurt. Somebody's eventually going to get hurt. And you would think common sense would dictate to the school bus driver, you don't do 30 miles an hour up down those bumpy dirt roads. You know? And I talked to Mike, and he said, you can request your street to have a lower speed limit, they can put up a sign, but you have to present your case. I don't know who to present the case to.
I'm assuming that will be Phil.
What
You know?
street is it?
Delgado, up on the west side. Yeah. Yeah, we talked to Mike, by the way, top notch guy. It's Mike is fantastic, yes, but, and he said he brought it up at the last meeting, and it was somebody from the county there, but he said that 30 miles an hour is what the speed limit is, and if I wanted to come to your meeting and talk, I could do it, but I don't know who, you know, I'm talking in the wind if I'm not going in the right direction.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll talk to the captain in the sheriff's office who's responsible for this district. And he will tell me who I can.
Yeah, it'd be great. As a matter of fact, I had a sheriff over there last night, because I caught a guy dumping trash up on the side of the road. And I got his pictures and the vehicle number and everything. Yeah.
And that's one thing that brings up my mind. You look at some of these yards, it's ridiculous. Some of them look like garbage dumps.
Yeah.
You know, and they somehow they need to be cleaned up. Yeah, I don't mind a car without a license plate on it, or somebody with the hood open on their car. But yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I did not, unfortunately,
Chuck?
remember to post it here. But before you leave tonight, would you mind just putting your name on?
Sure.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight that would like to speak?
Do we have anything else?
That's it.
Oh, okay, just-
Sally? Definitely, please tell us what's happening in downtown Hastings.
Yeah, I just want to give you an update for Hastings. We have begun our old jail pocket park project. On Cochran Avenue. We cleared the fencing on the property and we're in the process of converting it to a passive park. Next week we'll have pavers put down, we'll have picnic benches, and eventually a fence will go up around it. But it's just an amenity we're adding to the Hastings community for benefit of the residents and the visitors. We did get a Rotary grant, and we've got to finish it by March 31, so that's why we're fast forwarding the activity. Eventually, the jail will be opened as a museum, but we're not there yet. It's the slogan. We had planned upgrades on our lighting along Main Street. However, we've had bumps in the road.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And it has been a slow go. And we're still planning to get the lights replaced with LEDs and upgraded. But it is not as many as we had thought, and it's not the style that we wanted, but we're still working it through FPL and the county. So it's coming. It's just a slow go. On April 26th and 27th, we have the Cabbage, Potato, and Bacon Festival coming up. Come hungry and eat a lot, but it should be a 2-day adventure in culinary taste.
And email me if y'all would like to volunteer for that, right?
Right? Oh.
Yeah, so
that's on
any
my list.
volunteers, email Flagler State CRA@gmail.com.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and then we will get that information to Sally, but yes, we will need volunteers for that as well.
Absolutely. And we do have a community meeting, a Hastings community meeting this Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Harris Center. We have Jeff Davies going to speak on historic photos and history of Florida. And it's our regular monthly 1-hour community meeting. Starts at 10 o'clock. And the last thing is a library timeline update. We do have a Smithsonian grant that we're working for an exhibit in the new library. We met with the library officials and determined that they are targeting April 2026 for the opening of the library. So hopefully we'll sync up our projects with theirs and we'll have a nice display in the main lobby. for our grant product.
Big things happening here and in Hastings.
Question for you, actually. Hastings pizza, right? They sold, didn't they?
They're in the process of being sold.
What's going there, do you know?
No, it will remain a pizza parlor.
Okay.
And Mike just expanded. He's got a nice little deck on the outside.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, that's a shame they're selling.
Well, he's got multiple properties all around the state. He's got an elderly mom that he's trying to tend to, and that's the reason for the sale.
Anybody else?
Yeah, that gentleman had something to say about the fire station out here. I asked him earlier.
It was basically the same information that you had shared. Public Works had just said they were still targeting March. They were still coordinating with the fire chief and our public affairs team. A lot of people need involved. Schedules need to get coordinated, so.
For the groundbreaking?
Yes.
Good. Awesome.
Will you guys mail us with your definite date?
Yeah, I will make sure to coordinate all of you on dates.
Thanks.
March 27th. Next meeting, do you want to know?
March 27th is the next CRA meeting here. And we will get together a time for us to do that community workshop too. And if y'all have, like I said, if y'all want to run let us know about the, if y'all want to run, because the election's coming up soon.
I have a question. Community workshop, what day is that again?
Don't know yet.
We don't know about
We're
the
trying to
community
put
workshop.
something together. We were trying to put a community workshop together.
What were the dates that, like the range of dates? Because it will probably fall through one of those. So maybe we could try to.
Yeah,
Give a
I mean, they
window.
were really quick about emailing me. He's really excited about coming out here, so they gave me,
So we're looking like end of March to mid-May,
so that's
Sometime
12
between-
days, yeah.
end of March, mid-May, maybe possibly more likely April or first half of May, I would think.
Yeah,
Probably most realistic.
If we get to pick when we get to April.
April
We might want
22nd.
to, we might want to do after the election actually for this workshop. Or do we do before the election?
I don't think it really matters.
Between March and April.
Well, that would put it into April instead of May.
It don't matter. We can figure that out.
Well,
and let
Yeah,
everybody
we'll
know.
figure it out and let you know. Are you on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on. Out of everybody here who's on Facebook, is everybody 100% on Facebook?
Yeah, they have.
So you do all check in on Facebook? Okay.
I'll put everything on our website as well. We'll put a form volunteer form, we'll put everything. Go to Flagler State CRA.com and everything will be there.
She's our tech group guru.
By the
so
end of
she-
the night, I thought, well, no, I'm lying, by the end of tomorrow night.
Because I have it all set up. But we
Definitely.
Thank you for speaking up.
Yep, yep, there's plenty of.
You guys, next time, big chairs.